Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to do a character guide on Ignis. Ignis just got his BT and FR. If you're not familiar with Ignis, he is a pretty insane support character. And he is a stance-based character, which does make him a little bit more complicated. I think it's cool though, because like stance-based characters, by having different stances, it actually allows them to have more things in their kit, which, you know, you may or may not like that, but I think the complexity makes the character a little bit more interesting, a little bit more versatile. So we'll kind of try to explain his stances, when you want to use them, and how they work. So in this video, we're going to look at his calls, his artifacts, and his spheres. Then we're going to do a little showcase and kind of explain what he does here. So his calls are actually pretty solid. So this regroup one here, it does heal, and it does an attack and max brave up to the party. So you're getting two things that you like on a call, which is, I think healing on calls is very good, and then getting just good party buffs in general. And attack max brave are good things to buff. So I think it's really solid for that. And then the LD, the big thing with this, it's a party fire enchant, which is not a common thing to get. And if you're in a situation where you need to put fire enchant on, this is pretty much, this and Lulu are like the two go-to calls for that. But I like Ignis because the 15 has a little bit more than Lulu, where Lulu just does like attacks, whereas his 15 actually does healing and some buffs, which I really, really like. So yeah, I think the Ignis call is actually a really good call you can use for sure. And then with that, let's go ahead and look at Ignis here, and we're going to look at his artifacts and his spheres. His artifact set is kind of interesting. I think there's a lot of ways you can go with Ignis, right? So he kind of has three things going on where he actually can do pretty good damage. So like attack is a nice option you can give him. But then he's like, as a support character, he does a lot of battery, right? The thing is when he's in his support stance, his battery scales off of iBrave, and when he's in his attack stance, it scales off of Max Brave. So you kind of want to think of, you know, if you're going to use him in a certain stance more often, then you might want to lean that way, right? So the one thing is, so I'm kind of showcasing three different sets you can give him. So no matter what, you want to give him Cooking for Comrades boost 2-star, because this is going to be iBrave and Max Brave. So you're getting 2 out of the 3 stats there that you want. And iBrave and Max Brave are both going to increase his battery. So as a support character, I do think the Cooking for Comrades, I would recommend everybody put that on. Now, in terms of the other stat, you could either do Max Brave 330, you could do iBrave 170, or you could do Attack 108. Okay? Now, if you're going to use him more as a damage dealer, then I would say do Attack 108 for sure. But in terms of battery, so if you're going to use him as an attacker, I think Attack 108 is the way to go. And then Max Brave is going to be more if you want to stay in attack stance, because his battery will be on Max Brave. If you're going to be more in the defense stance, then you'd want to go iBrave 170. And I'm personally someone that I'm probably going to be in defense stance most of the time, because defense stance is where you get the debuff evasion, which is one of my favorite parts about Ignis. Now, the thing is not every fight is going to put harmful debuffs on you, so you don't feel like you always have to be in that stance. So it is going to kind of vary per fight, right? Okay, so once again, you have some options there. You can kind of pick what you want, but kind of stick to Max Brave, iBrave, or attack in that area, right? So then when we go to the spheres, we can kind of think that way again. So for the C slot, you know, Maria and Lute are actually pretty good because they're going to be like attack and iBrave up, which are both good stats, and they're going to be to the party. So that's probably like the preferred C slot to put on, or like Alphanod is going to be a party attack up, right? That's usually what you want to put in the C slot. I went ahead and did Selfie here. Selfie is a sphere you don't really hear me talk about much because it's just iBrave and Max Brave. Typically, if you're going to do iBrave or Max Brave, you want it comboed with attack. Ignis to me is a character that like iBrave and Max Brave are both kind of equally good on him. And this way I know that whatever stance I'm in, this sphere is helping his battery. So I kind of thought this was just in general, kind of like my mindset with it is, like, when am I ever going to use this selfie sphere? And to me, this is like, if I were going to use it on somebody like Ignis is the perfect character to use Selfie Sphere on. So I put it there not because, you know, Selfie maybe isn't the best one to put there, but I feel like it's the best place for her sphere, and I want to use it. So I feel really good about putting Selfie on Ignis because, once again, the iBrave and Max Brave, he has 2 different stances that will battery off of those. So I kind of like that. And then on the D slot, you want party attack up. And I feel like something like Cisne and Hope are really good here because you're getting attack and Max Brave, Once again, both good stats for Ignis, both good stats for the party. And I do find Cisne's actually is a little bit more intriguing because the thing with Ignis is when he's in his stances, he's actually doing a lot of HP plus attacks. And his HP plus attacks, they don't like battery, or they don't put buffs on or do things that will trigger a lot of like the D and C spheres. So like having something like Cisne where it's triggered on an attack is actually, I think, pretty good on him, because you're going to be hitting HP attacks a lot. And during those, you're going to be dealing a lot of crits, which is going to trigger Cisne. So I actually think Cisne is a really good D slot to put on him, just based on his nature of doing so many HP plus attacks. And hers is actually stackable. So, I mean, if I were going optimal here, I would probably do just double Cisne on him. And then the C slot, once again, maybe like a Maria or an Alphanaud, something like that there. But I like putting Selphie there. I think Selphie's a good shout there. All right, so with that, let's hop into the showcase. We are going to do a full support team. And what you guys have seen, I've done these before. These new age supports, like, they're strong enough that they can just operate. Oh, shout out to Doppelganger, shout out to Sed. I got to shout out these people that are watching me live right now, right? So Doppelganger and Sed are both here. Sed, I'll grab your Aerith, because Aerith is something I might actually use on the showcase here. So let's go ahead and hop in and get to it. All right, so as I said, Ignis is quite complicated. So we definitely just kind of want to talk about what he is doing here, right? So let's get to his turn. But in general, what I'm going to kind of remind you guys here is that he has two stances. So I'm going to hit Holy here. So he has I'm just going to call it like the pastry stance and the bowl stance. So he's got Memory Lane Pastry and Papa Bird and Baby Bowl. So if I say bowl, it's the Papa Bird. If I say pastry, it's the Memory Lane Pastry, right? So the pastry stance, that is the defense stance, and that's where you get defense ignore, or not defense ignore, you get the debuff evasion, right, which is really good. Let's ramp a little bit here with Aerith. Okay, and then let's do a Seal Evil. All right, and because I'm Red Crystal, Ignis is going to get a couple of turns right away. So we can just show off a couple of things, right? All right, so yeah, you can see. So he starts off, you know, he can choose Pastry or Papa Bowl right away. You can see he has his Brave and HP plus attacks. They're letting you choose the stance, okay? And then he has Regroup, and he has Quick Recipe. So he's got some ways to like kind of take instant turns and Force Charge as well. But let's just start with, let's go with Pastry first. So Memory Lane Pastry, we're going to hit that button. Okay. So all we did was we pretty much just went into that stance. And now when we're in that stance, you're going to see he has a Brave attack and an HP attack Pastry. Okay, and so those are going to do different things. So let's kind of go through this. I got to find it all here, right? Okay, so the Pastry is just like a big battery. And then he just goes into that stance. And what's going to happen is in Pastry, he is going to get a buff called Memory Lane Pastry. So this buff gives you debuff evasion by 100% and HP regen. So once again, it's a defensive stance. You get HP regen and that debuff evasion. And then we're going to get different HP plus attacks, right? And once again, these are going to battery. So all the battery in this stance now is going to battery on iBrave, okay? And in this stance, he's going to get an 8 HP dumping attack. And then his EX gauge goes up 20% and he gets a free turn. So let's go ahead. Let's do this HP double plus Pastry. Let's just see the damage here. Okay, yeah, 1.3 mil on an HP plus attack is pretty good. Let's go ahead with Deuce here. Let's do a little charging with her. The one thing I'm going to say with, and actually, yeah, I kind of want to just get BTFX up right away. Sure, let's just do this. The one thing with Ignis is if you are going to do his BT phase with him as the attacker, I would definitely enter it in the Baby Bowl stance. You want to be in the Bowl stance, which is the attack stance, because you're going to get more out of that. So he's going to take me a bit to show off, because I got a lot of things to show here. A lot more than usual. We'll bring down the Atticas as well. The nice thing is he does have some instant turn stuff, so I can blow through a couple of things here on his next turn and just show that off pretty quick. And he can Force Charge, which is one of the good things about him, right? So let's do regroup and we can do quick recipe, right? So regroup is like a really fat burst heal, right? So let's hit this. Okay, so that would be a big fat burst heal if you need it. And party heals actually twice. And it's going to heal on iBrave and max HP. So another spot where iBrave is coming into play. And then at battery scaled on the party's HP, you get a free turn. He gets a buff called First Aid for 17 turns. So this buff is not running out, which is a party attack up, max brave up, and HP damage up, which HP damage is good. And then quick recipe is what you do when you want to switch stances. So let's hit quick recipe. He's going to cook something up here. My boy cooking something up. Okay. So quick recipe is a brave gain on iBrave, battery on max brave. So iBrave and max brave both batterying there, right? Transforms back to the dishes. So now you can choose a new stance. And he gets a buff called Ambrosia. This is an attack up, max brave up, and iBrave up, which is good. So now that I've done the quick recipe, that's how you change stances. But the thing is you could force charge. Like I could keep hitting quick recipe, right? And you can see we're already at 90%. So I'm kind of tempted to just go into force time. So let's quick recipe again. We'll just force charge again. Show off the force charging a bit. Oh, not quite there, huh? You're going to make me do it again? Oh, and we have the EX Overwhelm. Yeah, we got a few things to show off. Well, let's do it one more time. I want to get into force here since we're basically there. We still have the EX to show. We got to do the LD. I want to show the HP attacks on the on the attack stance, right? We got to go through that. So, yeah, let's go into it. Let's do Balefire, which is the FR. I love this FR, by the way. Comboing with King, but his FR conditions are really good. Alright, so let's talk about his FR conditions and why I like it so much. So it's going to heal. And we did get healing overflow, so you see our HP is like really high right now, which is good. AoE attack. And then the HP conditions are this. If you have 100% or more HP on your turn, 40%. If you act with no debuffs, 40%. So provided you're in defense stance, they can't debuff you. And he's healing like crazy, so you're going to be able to be at full HP. So now we've got full gains. So this is why I want to show off. Aerith here is going to get the big fat echoes. Like everybody's going to get big fat echoes off of him. And this is why I think he's got so much value. So watch these Aerith echoes because we're meeting all the conditions. We have full HP. We're not debuffed. And then bam, 165%. It was so good the first time. Let's do it again. We're going to get this gauge up so fast it isn't even funny. Like, we're going to be at full 9s by his next turn probably, or pretty darn close to it. There we go. Another 160. The reason why we're going to ramp up so quick is we brought this friend Aerith here, which I love doing this with the friend Aerith, abusing her double echo as well. And then we're not really missing out anything because I just swapped her for my Aerith and we can drop down the same BT effect. The only thing is this Aerith won't have her overhead charge, but that's fine. For how quick we're getting this gauge up and we're still at turn 10. So this is what I'm talking about, right? Like, who needs the Leonora cheese? Look how much percent I'm putting up without using a force turn here, right? Who needs the Leonora cheese? We just got Aerith cheese. That's all we need. We've had the cheese this whole time. And then we'll drop BT effect. Alright, we're finally using a force turn at 780%. So yeah, by Ignis's next turn, we're basically maxed out. It's about where we're at. If you can smell what Ignis is cooking, right? He's cooking something up here for his next turn. He's definitely going to be cooking something up here. Actually, I think Ignis is going to be cooking up... I think he's going to be cooking up a BT. Because now that we're in force, I'm kind of eager to get his BT effect rolling. We do got to hit his LD. For sure. But I might just go, like... I think I'm going to hit his BT. We'll cycle around again, and we'll go burst fades, and then we can kind of just show off the rest of them there. I think is what we'll do. And we'll Attica for good measure. I mean, we're burning these... Dude, it's getting to the point where, like, this fight is almost, like, not tanky enough, right? Yeah, we'll just keep echoing, sure. It's overkill because now we're well over 900, 999% here. But look at these echoes. Like, here's an attack echo, right? Coming in at 100%. So it's the max you can get on an attack echo. We're getting the max that you can on a non-attacking echo. We're just throwing down so much damage and blowing this fight up. Sure, EX sounds good. Man, is Ignis gonna have to go burst phase now? Probably not. No, we got to have his BT effect up because we get some powerful follow-ups with him. Ignis, I'm gonna tell you right now, he's gonna put up some damage. Like, not even kidding. He's gonna put up some damage, and we're gonna make sure we're in attack stance, right? All right, so Ignis here, we're gonna go BT effect, and this is called Severing Fate, huh? Or no, it's called, yeah, Severing Fate. I was going to say Sage Fire, but that's the LD. Alright, so pretty standard damage there. Yeah, dude, these guys are like roasted, man. There's the follow-up. Total Clarity. Yeah, 15 million on his follow-up, and that's at max gauge. Okay? Oh, yeah. Are we going to be able to get to his next turn? I think we will, but let me talk about the BT because we just got that up. So it's a 10-turn burst effect. It enables the Total Clarity follow-up. Okay? So after Ignis acts with his BT effect active, that follow-up is going to happen. It's going to be a fat battery scaled on max Brave, AoE attack, and Brave gains after each HP. And it's a 6 times dump there, and it extends his buffs by 1 turn, which is very good. And then we get Brave damage up, Brave damage limit up, HP damage, and HP damage limit up, the normal auras. So it's kind of a standard thing they're doing. Give you the normal BT auras, and then give these support characters a little bit of follow-up to give them some good damage, right? Let's go ahead and Fury Brand, I suppose. Yep. All right, I think they should be able to survive a hit from Deuce. I don't think Deuce instantly kills, does she? Okay, we're good there. We'll take all those zeros. Does Deuce kill here? I think I'm going to Brave attack because she's going to do Attica, right? Sure. I just got to be like really safe here because we are spitting some damage. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to Ignis BT. If anything else, just so I have more time to showcase here. All right. So a couple things we need to show with Ignis. Let's go ahead and hit the LD. This is Sage Fire. I want to get him into attack stance though so you guys can see that. 23 million, solid. And then Total Clarity for another 15. Yeah, dude, just 15 mil AoEs there is pretty good. The LD, let's get to it here. Got it. Dude, he's got like the biggest note sheet ever. There's so much going on here. So Sage Fire is a fire damaging attack. He does get a buff called Enhancement, and it does put the Sage Fire debuff down on the enemies. The Enhancement buff for 18 turns, by the way. Buff duration granted is an extra 2 turns. It inflicts Sage Fire after attacking. Party attack up, overflow up, and then fire enchant and elemental weakness damage up to the party. And then the Sage Fire debuff is there is a poison effect scaled off of Eye Brave, HP damage taken up 10%, and a fire resist down. So you guys are seeing like Ignis is just littered with things scaled on Eye Brave and Max Brave like everywhere. So I really do think that Selfie Sphere is actually kind of top tier on him. I'm liking the Selfie Sphere. I feel really good about that. Let's do Overwhelm. And by the way, on top of all this stuff with Ignis we've already talked about, he's got turn manipulation. So Overwhelm can it's going to pull the party member up. And whoever you pick is going to go up in front. And by the way, he just did 50 million on that. 50 million plus he just did like 70 million damage there. Just about, right? Like 66 to 69 million, something like that. Dude, and he's a support character. That's like what Aranea is putting up in a launch with Fujin is like 70 something million. Like we just did that with Ignis. And this isn't even like his HP stance stuff yet. So let's get into okay, we got to get into Papa Bird stance. All right, let's get into the Papa Bird bowl stance here. I know we had to like waste the turn, but 135 and then he still gets Total Clarity. All right, so we got to talk about this stance because we haven't talked about this yet. All right, so in this stance, he's going to get the Papa Bird and Baby Bull buff, and it will take away the pastry buff, right? Party attack up, overflow stolen up, and HP damage up. So it's definitely like going to increase the damage of the party. And then his HP plus attack on this one's going to get 9 dumps with some splash. So what we want to do... Oh, do I have to quick recipe again? Hold up. Give me my stance back. I mean, we'll still take these total clarities. There we go. Okay. So I got to do it again. Like, give me my HP plus, please. At least one before we run out here. Oh, am I over buffed where he can't put the buff on? I think that's what happened. Yeah, I'm over buffed. He can't put the buff on. Yeah, I'm over buffed. So that is something you got to watch out for. So I can't get into his HP plus here because I actually over buffed myself. That's fine. We'll end with an FR. And here's what I'm going to do. We'll just hop into the fight again really quick. I'll just go into that stance and we'll see like just some normal damage. Because I do want to show off at least an attack in that stance, right? But yeah, you can see we blew up this fight just fine. And, you know, putting up some pretty good damage here. And keep in mind, like this BT phase number, it's going to be way lower because one, we only had like one enemy most of the time. By the way, that FR animation's ridiculous. Or that BT animation's crazy with the purple eyes. That's insane. Yeah, that's like that 229 mil way lower than it should have been because we spouted off a couple of just like Brave Gain attacks trying to get into his stance. So yeah, we got to, that is a good thing we should note on our boy Ignis. I put him in a full support team and we over buffed this man. So in case you guys aren't aware, you're only allowed to hold, what is it, 6 buffs? And we had all framed buffs. So that means there's literally no room to put a new buff on. So we're just going to retry really quick. So I want to make sure you guys see everything. And then what I'll do, because this might have seemed kind of confusing, there was a lot going on here, right? I'm going to try to just recap and re-summarize the whole kit one more time here at the end. But let's go into attack stance. Alright, I'm not even going to do anything crazy here. Well, I guess I do want to get BT effect up just so I can see, like, the damage with at least one BT effect up. So a little bit of an extended showcase, but Ignis kind of needs it because, like I said, there's a lot going on. I don't think I really missed anything else on him, but like, yeah, even I kind of forgot he has a freaking poison as well. Like HP damage taken up, poison, brave gaining, healing, fire enchanting, all this stuff, weakness damage up. He just does like everything. It feels like force charging. Like, what doesn't he do? The one weakness of Ignis as opposed to some other supports is that he is tied to an element and can get elemental locked out, right? Okay, so let's go and do Papa Bird stance so we can actually get in there. And then let's look at the Papa Bird HP attack. So this is the PB Bowl attack. Yeah, dude, 2 mil without a multiplier? Like, that's really good damage. 2 mil without a multiplier and without full BT effects. So he's hitting over 2 mil if we have all the BT effects up. So you guys have to imagine that attack with his BT follow-up with a force multiplier, he's probably doing like 80 million damage or something insane like that on these attacks. So my boy Ignis looking pretty good. You guys can let me know what you think of him, but let me just do a quick little summary. So once again, let me get to an Ignis turn just so I can like have his stuff up, right? And then we'll, oh shoot, I didn't mean to like force charge there. That is definitely not the button I wanted to press. I just want to pass turn. Alright, I'm going to try to re-summarize this guy for you here. Now, I could see Ignis's like complexity maybe being a turnoff to some players, because you do need to think about like the stancing you're in, right? So just to recap, regroup is pretty much just like your big burst heal. You press that when you want to burst heal, right? And then otherwise you just have to kind of pay attention to what stance you want to be in. So remember, quick recipe is to reset your stance. So if you want to reset your stance, go ahead and do that. And then when you are on the dishes, so if it says dishes, that means you are prepping a dish. You are picking your stance, right? So memory lane at the top, that's your defense stance. Papa Bowl is your attack stance. Remember the defense stance, that's the one I'm going to recommend being in most of the time because that has the debuff evasion and the HP regen on it. But then if you're going to go into burst phase, then I would go ahead and go into the attacking stance, right? And then we can just do an HP attack and pastry mode there. And then other than that, it's LD. Big damage, really good debuff, fire enchant, right? EX has some turn manipulation. Actually, I don't even think I went over all of the EX. Let me double check the EX here. Make sure I give you... Where is the EX on this whole page? Jesus. Okay. So select an ally and warp everybody forward. Battery scaled on Max Brave. 5-time... Oh, yeah, the EX, the thing I forgot to mention is it does... Okay, let's go back in because I wasn't looking at it that carefully. I'm going to do his burst phase quick just to do an EX again, because it does 5 dumps, but then it does another 5 dumps per ally. So this is like a 15 dumping attack. And it does HP damage up, and extra HPs are based off of the ally's current brave. So when you're, so like 10 out of those 15 dumps are scaled on the current brave, and it doesn't consume brave. So I didn't quite go over that, and we need to like, let's just look at that again really quick. Let me just throw it down. So let's actually look at the EX under, say, like normal damage. Of course, they're going to be difficult and like try to attack me quick. That's fine. You can be in force time. So, oh, I have it right here, actually, so we can just do it without the BT. So let's do Overwhelm. Let's pull Deuce up, and let's just look at the dumps and the damage. Once again, this is without multiplier. Yeah, 3.4 million. Yeah, that's a pretty good little number to press there. So his EX is going to be quite spicy at that full gauge. So if the EX, I don't remember what the move I did that was like the 70 mil shot or whatever, but if that was the EX, then his normal HP plus wouldn't quite be that high. But what I'm going to do, guys, we'll end the character guide there. I'm definitely going to be showcasing him again. What I'll probably do is on his Shinryu, I will feature him as the DPS, and we'll try to line up some really big damage during his burst phase. But let me know what you think of this guy. I think he's great, and I think he is definitely worth pulling. Not only if you're missing a support, but dude, this guy could just be your damage dealer on top of it. He just does everything. So let me know what you think of this guy. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.